Hello everyone, welcome to this next video on SQL learning where we are going to learn SQL from very basic to very advanced. Now in the last video, we have learned about the basics of SQL, how we can write a simple SQL query, how we can apply multiple filters, how we can group the data. But in this particular video, we are going to talk about joins. Now, if you want to join multiple tables, so you already know that in a particular database, you have a lot of tables. So if you want to connect them, if you want to join them, and after joining, if you want to perform some kind of analysis, so how we can do that? In this particular video, we are going to discuss that. Together with that, we are also going to learn about subqueries. So how we can write a subquery and where a particular person should use a subquery versus where a person should use a join. So this is all what we are going to discuss in this video. But before we start this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel Session with Sumit.
Now let's understand how to use SQL joins. What is the meaning of join? Join basically mean when your objective is to connect. Your objective is to connect two or more tables. Two or more tables. Now I hope you guys already remember that in a particular database, the data is collected in various tables. So in a particular database, you may find out multiple tables. And in order to extract complete information, it is required to connect or join these tables. So join or connect. And this is where the requirement of joins come into picture. Now we already know that in a database, multiple tables are having relationship. So tables are having relations. And these relations are defined using primary key and foreign key. So let's understand various kinds of join. I'll first of all create a table which is employee table, which is having employee ID, name, department ID, and it is having some records. So the name of this table is employee EMP. I have another table which is the department ID table having department ID and department name. The name of this table is DP department. It is again having some records. So let's say let's fill these two tables with some random data. E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7. Then names A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Then department D7, D1, D2, D6, D6, D2, D5. Similarly, I'll fill some random data over here. D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, and department names are AA, BA, CD, FG, and JK. Now, you guys can already identify that in the department table, your department ID is the primary field, while in the employee table, your employee ID is the primary field, and department ID is your foreign field. And the way we can connect these two tables is by using this common column or common field, which is department ID. So this is what the relationship is, department ID. Now, there are three major kinds of join which will work in any kind of vendor. So if you are working with MySQL, if you're working with MS SQL, if you're working with Postgre, if you're working with IBM, if you're working with Oracle, in all the kinds of vendor, these three common or these three basic join will always work. One is left, then right, and then inner. So these are the three kinds of join that you will commonly find out in across all the vendors. Let's see how it will let's see what will happen if I use left join. So let's see how the data will be generated. So let me create a table over here with employee ID, name, department ID, and department name. And here we have some records. So in the left join, what will happen? I'll get all the records from the left table. So all records from left table, and I'll get the common records from the right table, and common records from right table. So how the output would look like? Let's fill this table. So I'll get all the records from left table. So I'll get E1, E2, E3, E4, E5, E6, E7. I'll get all the records A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then D7, D1, D2, D6, D6, D2, D5. Now I'll get the common record from the right table. So D7 is not available in my right table, so that will be not available. D1 is there, so I'll get D1 AA. D2 is there, so I'll get D2 BA. D6 is there, no, so not available, not available. This is not available, not available. D2 is there, so D2 BA, and D5 is there, so D5 JK. This is how left join will work. So left join will return you all the records from the left table and those records from right which are common, and the common attribute is defined by comparing the values in this primary field and foreign field. So this is a common record because D1 is over here and D1 is over here also. D2 is here, D2 is here, D2 is here, D2 is here. So these are my common records. What will happen in the case of inner join? So let's understand. So let's understand what will happen in the case of inner join. Now in the case of inner join, let's me again create the table with employee ID, name, department ID, and department name. Let's create some records. Now in the case of inner join, you will get all records and only those records which are common to both the tables. All records which are common to both tables. So how the output will look like? Let's get a view. So I have D7 over here, but D7 is not available in my right table, so that record will not be fetched out in my output table. I have D1 over here, D1 is here, so this record will be in my inner join output. So E2B, D1, D1 AA, D2 is over here, D2 is over here, so D2 will also be getting fetched out. E3C, D2, D2 BA, D6 is over here but not there, so this will not be getting fetched out. D2 is again over there, so E6 F, D2, D2 BA, finally D5 which is there also, so E7 G, D5, D5 JK, and that is what is going to happen when you use inner join. In the case of right join, you guys would have already guessed it what is going to happen. In the case of right join, I'll get all the records from the right table and common records from the left. So all records from right table and common records from left table. So let's see the output. So we have employee ID, we have name, then department ID, then department ID, finally department name. Let's create the records. Now I will get all the records from the right table, which is this one is your right. So, and the common from left. So here in my right table, I do not have D7. So the first row, which is the part of my left table, will not be fetched out. I'll start the fetch from E2, which is this particular second row. So E2 B, D1, D1, AA, then E3, C, D2, D2, BA. Then I again have E6, D2, so I'll have E6, F, D2, D2, BA. And then before I can get this record, which is this record, E7, I have to take these two records, which is D3 and D4. So D3, D4, which is CD and FG. And for this, the data is not available on my left table. So not available. The last record would be E7, G, D5, D5, JK. And this is your right join. Now the thing that you guys should focus over here is, here I have maintained the order in which the data was present in my right table, and I have all the records from the right table. So D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5. And I have all the records which are common with the left table. Now how to write a query for it? So let's understand join query. Let's create a schema of 3 tables: employee ID, name, salary, department ID. Another table, it is having ID, department name, location ID. And the third table, which is having again ID and location name. Now these are my 3 tables. Let's name these tables. So let's name this table as EMP, this table as DEP, this table as LOC. These are the names that we have given to these tables. My objective is to join these tables. I have to join this table with this table, and then I have to join this table with this table. Now in my department data, ID column is the primary field. So I'll just mention all the primary and foreign key with the character P and F. So this is primary, this is foreign, this one is primary, this one is foreign, this one is primary, and we do not have foreign over here. Now using this and this, we can connect department and location table. Using this and this, we can connect the employee and the department table. But how to write the query? Let's see that. So I wanted to select all the records and the fields from the table employee, which I am going to alias it as A. I am interested in performing inner join with the table DEP that I will alias with the keyword B on A dot DEP ID is equal to B dot ID. This is how we write a simple join query. Let's understand each component. So I'm basically asking my SQL server to select all records and fields from, this is table number 1, and since I have written this table immediately after the from clause, this table will be considered as the left table. Then I have used this keyword or the alphabet to declare the alias for it. So alias for table 1. Now this is something which you are open to declare. You can declare it, you may ignore it. The advantage is that when we are defining the combination of primary and foreign key over here, we do not have to write the complete table name. I do not have to write emp.department ID and dep.id. And sometimes table names can be quite huge and quite difficult to write down in your query. So in order to make your query simple and in order to avoid mistakes, alias will help you. So I'm saying emp table, which I will now call as A. I'm interested in performing inner join. So this is my kind of join with my second table. So table number 2, and now this table will be considered as the right table, and this is the alias for table 2. Then on, so using on keyword, we declare the relation, declaring relation, and this is the relationship. So primary and foreign key combination, and we are done. So this is how you can join 2 tables. But what if I have to join 3 tables? No worries. Again, select star from table number 1 EMP which I'll call as A, the kind of join, inner join, DP, which I'll call as B, on A dot DP ID is equal to B dot ID. Then I will again write the kind of join. So let's say again inner join. I wanted to join the third table LOC, which I'll call as C, on B dot location ID is equal to C dot ID. Now if you guys carefully observe, it is actually very simple to understand. I'm saying select all the rows and columns from, this is my table 1, inner join, the kind of join, table number 2, on, this is the common attribute between these two tables. Once these two tables are joined, I have to again join. So again join the third table, which I have declared as C, on B dot. So this is, assume that this is A. 1 second. So this one is A, this one is B, and this one is C. So the last statement is on B dot location ID is equal to C dot ID. In table number B, we have the column location ID, and table number C, we have ID. And this is how we can join multiple tables, and this is how we can write the multiple joining query. Now let's quickly look into one example. So I'll use my employees database, and sorry, I'll use my so let's look into one example. Let's check out the employees table, and now we have one more table in this database named departments. So in my employees database, in my employee table, you can see we have department IDs, but I do not have department name. But in the departments table, I'm having department ID with their department name. So I can connect these two tables. Select a star from table number 1, employees, I'll call this as A, the kind of join, inner join, with departments, which is my table number B, on A dot department ID is equal to B dot department ID, and semicolon, and we run it. So here you can see now we have all the records and all the fields from both the tables. What if I have to specify a particular column in my select clause? So let's say I wanted to fetch out department ID from table A. So I'll say A dot department ID. Now please remember, department ID, since it is available in both A and B, we have defined the reference. So I'm saying A dot department ID. So from table A, fetch out the column or the field department ID, followed by B dot department name. So from table B, which is my departments table, fetch out the department name. And I also want, let's say, the employee ID or first name. So I'll say comma A dot employee ID followed by A dot first name, and let's execute this. Now if you have to perform any kind of operation, like let's say you have to group the data. So if I ask you to find out a department name wise average salary, let's say this is the question. So whenever you have to join two tables and then find out a certain answer, always join two tables and then start doing any other operation. So I'll first of all join the employee table and the department table. Select a star from the employees table A, inner join departments table B on A dot department ID is equal to B dot department ID. And now I will work on this particular question once I have joined both the tables. So I need department name wise average salary. So department name is in table number B. So B dot department name, comma, I need average of A dot salary. So I have properly defined the reference. So department name is from B, salary is from A, and below the on statement, I'll write group by B dot department name. And if you wish to order it, then order by average of A dot salary in the descending order, and we are done. Here you can see we have department name by average salary. Now given this particular question, how we are going to solve it? Most of us would think that since we have to find out average salary of executive department, now since the component salary is available in my employee table, so let me show you. Select a star from employees, and here we can see that we have the component or the field salary, The name of the department is available in the departments table. So select a star from departments, and here we have the department name. So normally what we are going to do, we are going to join these two tables, right? Let's do this. Select a star from the table employees A, followed by inner join departments B on A dot department ID is equal to B dot department ID, and let's run it. Now here the objective is to find out average salary of executive department. So here I will select average of salary and I'll use A dot salary, and here I will apply the filter where B dot department name is equal to, I'll use the executive department name over here, and let's run it. And here we have the average salary of executive department. But this is not the correct way. This is actually giving you the result, though it is giving you the result, but this is not correct. How it is not correct, why it is not correct, and what is the correct way in that way. Let's understand the correct way to solve this question, or maybe the correct procedure. So the concept is the difference between subquery and a join. So when to use a subquery, when to use subquery versus when to use join. Now, in order to understand this, let's take one simple example. So let's say the first question that I have to solve is find department name wise average salary. This is the question. Find department name wise average salary. Now, how the output of this question would look like? If I try to come up with the output, it will have two columns. It will have department name and it will have average of salary on the right. This is how the output of this particular question would look like, right? Now, if we carefully observe, the component of the field department name is from the departments table. The component salary is from the employees table. Let's look into one more question. The next question is find average salary of executive department. Executive department. So here the output for this particular question would just be having one column or one field, which is average of salary with some value. And if we closely observe, this field salary is only from the employees table. So the difference is, or maybe the way you can choose when to use a subquery versus when to use a join, is by looking at the output. If your output, if the output is having fields from multiple tables, you have to join those tables. So join those tables from which we have fields in the output. So here, since I'm having department name field from departments table, employee salary field from the employees table, I have to join the employee table with the departments table. But if you do not have the particular field from both the tables or maybe from multiple tables, and you are just using it as a filter, so here executive department will be acting as a filter. In that case, we prefer using subquery. Now, how to write a subquery? Let's look into one example. So if I go to my employees table, select a star from employees, I can see that I have the department ID. So what I can do, I can use the departments table to figure out or to fetch out the department ID corresponding to the department name executive. Let's do that. Select department ID from the table departments, where department name is equal to executive. Now here I will get the department ID for the department name executive. For this particular department, which is department 90, I need the average salary. let's write down the average salary code. Select average of salary from the table employees. Now I know the department ID, right? I can just simply say where department ID is equal to 90. But this will make your query hard coded. We have hard coded it, but you do not have to do it. You just remove this and take this query, which is returning us 90, put it in round brackets, and we are done. So I'm saying this is a subquery which will return me the value 90, and I'm then using that value to filter this table to fetch out average of salary. So this is how we can do this. Now in this particular case, this inner query was returning me one value. So I was able to use equal operator. But in case this particular query is returning multiple values, then in that case, prefer using in instead of is equal to. Then it will work in the same way, but if this inner query returns multiple values for which you have to filter this particular column, use in. If it is returning single value, use is equal to operator. So this is how you can differentiate or choose when to use a subquery versus when to use a join. So in order to solve this question, first of all, let's look into the tables that we have. So the very first table that we have is the churn data table. So select star from churn data. And in this table, I'm having details like customer ID, tenure, phone service, contract, paperless billing, payment method, monthly charges, total charges, and churn. Then we have a table known as the customers table, customer data table, I think. And no, that's not the table name, it's customer. And here I'm having customer ID, gender, senior citizen, partner, dependent, and finally we have a table internet. Select a star from. And here I'm having details like the internet service, customer ID, and other value added services. Now the objective is to find out gender wise average monthly charges. So these are the two fields which I need in my output: gender, monthly charge. Gender is available in customer table, monthly charge is in churn data table. So we will join these two tables first of all. Select a star from the table churn underscore data A, inner join customer data B on A dot customer ID is equal to B dot customer ID. What I need, what I need gender wise average monthly charges. So I need A dot, no, not A, B dot gender, comma, average of A dot monthly charges, and where we have, here we have to group. So group by B dot gender, and we are done. Now we have to worry about the various filters for those who are non-churn. Now the details regarding churn and non-churn is available in your churn data table, right? So we will use that filter, and we have to apply filter before this. So where A dot churn is equal to no. So that is my second condition. The third condition is use fiber optic as internet service. So I'll say and. Now both the tables, the churn data table or the customer data table, these both tables are having customer ID. Internet data table is also having customer ID. So I will find out all those customer ID where internet services fiber optic. So and let's filter A dot customer ID in. Now reason I'm using in because I'll get multiple customer ID. Select customer ID from the table internet where internet service is equal to fiber optic, and we will run this now. Now this will take a little bit time because I have not optimized my query. This is not the best way to write the query, but just to make you guys understand, I have done it. We can optimize this query and I'll talk about that. And in that case, when you optimize your query, it will not take much time. So here we have the result.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you learned about how you can use joins and when you should use a subquery versus when you should use a join. Before we end this video, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up because it takes a lot of effort to create such content. We will be coming back with the next video and we are going to learn more and more on SQL. But till the next video, I say a very good luck.